as of now, we worked for access request. Most of the things we configured access request and the associated user administration activities by using the process ID access request. But even this request, we are configuring the same set of activities, but we can call multiple process IDs if required within the same workflow. This is a bit complex scenario in terms of the configuration is very easy, but business point of view, there are some drawbacks while configuring. On what situations we will configure and what are the drawbacks and what is the advantages of this, we'll discuss today. But even we have a facility, we can call within the process IDs. So I will go with one scenario, the access request, and we can call for mitigation control assignment and mitigation maintenance workflow if required. So the scenario would be same, even it will be applicable for even yesterday's, but I will go with a different scenario. Our trigger condition is based on employee type. So we have two employees in the company. One is associate and second one is contract. So the initiator trigger must be with employee, but both associate or contract will be two-stage workflow only, manager and role owner. Here the routing rule, generally we will bypass, we will route the different workflow, but here we won't do that. We will call the other process ID. This is mitigation control assignment workflow. We will perform the risk analysis, but we will call this mitigation assignment workflow. So the actual mitigation controller will do the mitigation. Till the sufficient mitigation control ID is not exist or not available in the system, then even we can call for mitigation control maintenance workflow. Okay. Any questions till now? Stages are two stages, manager and role owner. Role owner must perform the risk analysis in both cases, but there is no SOD configuration. Only role owner will perform the risk analysis. We'll do some configurations to call the other process ID for mitigation. If still sufficient mitigation controls are not existing, then we can also call for another workflow. Okay. Any questions till now? And the rest of the other request types, just manager stage, and EAM request will be firefighter owner.
Request type, employee type, item number, value. So everything is in one Msmp workflow, Girish?
No, generally one. Meaning you are looking for initiator rule or?
No, I'm looking for the associate two stages, a contract two stages, right?
Configure.
You should not differentiate two things, right? Because
for generally, since we are practicing, we will just give the different trigger values and we will configure the same. Okay, since we are practicing. Otherwise, we can call for two stages. There is no based on the time limit. We'll see.
So basically, we'll be using the same configuration for both contractors and associates in the same workflow. Is that right? That is the scenario.
Same workflow, but trigger values are different. We can just make it
Of course.
Z associate, Z
Yeah,
contract.
yeah.
But
Yeah, maybe
workflow
contract to maybe use LDAP. Yeah, associate you should use HR master, something like that. Yeah, I understood.
okay. For this is assume this is a customer requirement. Okay, and even client has given we don't require any SOD workflow. We need to do it a mitigation assignment workflow. By using this, I need to mitigate user assignments in the workflow. Assume this is the requirement from customer side. Then what we have to do is first we need to understand the requirement. Then we'll start to creating prerequisites or developing prerequisites first. So the trigger value based on employee type. First configuration in the system is we need two employee types, right? Employee types, two employee types. Okay, this is the first step. We need to configure in the system. Then the initiator rule, custom initiator rule needs to be created. Okay, because the other request types only requires manager stage, EM as firefighter owner, but create and change requests of two stages. So we need custom initiator rule. Second one. So the step 2 is custom initiator. We need to create. And here we can assume this is the initiator trigger condition. So request type, employee type, initiate item num, trigger value. So even we can maintain what are the trigger values also. So till we are good. Now to do SOD trigger to mitigation assignment workflow. For this, what we have to do is the same role owner stage. We have to do some task settings. Approve despite of risk, we cannot configure here. Only risk analysis is mandatory. We will configure. And also, we need to set one parameter. We'll discuss what is 1072. Then we need to call the mitigation assignment workflow and maintenance workflow if required. So for this, we need parameters, configuration parameters, because we need to enable workflow and as well as we need to activate the workflows, right? And rest of the other request types are manager and firefighter owner. Everything will be comes under this request type. Till now, any questions? First, we need to step one, employee type in the system. Then we need a custom initiator rule. That rule requires 4 input values, and to call other process IDs, we need to perform some task settings in the role owner stage. We now need to enable the routing, what we did for a previous workflows. This is completely different. Apart from that, we need to enable one parameter, that is, until unless we cannot mitigate the risk, the request cannot be approved. So that configuration parameter we need to enable in the system so that the request will wait in the role owner stage. Then there is a mitigation assignment tab is available. As you click on the mitigation assignment, it will call for the other workflow using the process ID. For that, we need to configure mitigation assignment workflow. Since we are on the same screen, assume we don't have a mitigations available. So we will configure new mitigations using workflow so that we will cover other 2 process IDs as well. To enable these 2 workflows in the system, we need some configuration parameters set to S that we will show in the system. This is the requirement. Any questions before moving on to system?
No, Girish.
Okay, is the requirement clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, first I'm going to scroll. Okay. We need employee type. Okay. We need employee types. Here it is already there. Permanent and contract. Okay. Is it fine or do you want me to change the names? Hello. Someone is already created.
Yeah.
Okay, first I have created the employee types. Now, I will create the initiator rule because we require initiator rule. But before going to that, this is one of the prerequisites. So first we will complete the other workflows. Then we'll activate these. Then we'll go to create the custom initiator. So here workflow. So 1062, 1061 and 1062. Okay, 1061 first we'll see. So mitigation controls create. So here is the save button. Okay, because the mitigation control maintenance has not set up as a workflow. So directly we can create any mitigation directly in the system. You can directly create mitigations here. That is the reason we are getting save button. Okay, as soon as we set for mitigation control is yes, then the button will turn into save. Submit. Now the workflow is enabled. So whenever we are updating the details or we are trying to create a new mitigation control, ultimately it will trigger for approval. Okay, so done. This maintenance configuration activity we just enabled, but we need to other workflows as well.
So Girish, pause. If they're right, if you go back to the other screen,
Mhm.
the mitigation control, right? If So used only one parameter, right? 1061 only, right?
1061 is maintenance. Okay, I'm trying to set for assignment. Assignment has three: create, remove, delete. I'm
Yeah, you said 1072. What was that?
no.
Uh,
You can wait. Why it is required? I'll tell you. We have not went to that level because first we will complete this, then we'll go to this area.
oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. So the mitigation control maintenance completed. Now mitigation control assignment workflow. For this, first we need to activate the mitigation control assignment as a workflow. Okay. Apart from that, the same group workflow, we have create assignment, request request type. There are some standard request types are available, so we just need to maintain the request number. This is 18. So as soon as we enable create mitigation request assignment, the default request type number we will maintain in the parameters. One minute. Create request for mitigation assignment. Okay. Now create, update, delete. That is 19. This is 20. Okay. this part also complete. This is a prerequisite. So for any mitigation control creation, it triggers workflow. For any mitigation assignment, it triggers workflow. But I worked long back. I just need one confirmation. Just wait. So I just want to check org unit. If required, I have mapped the owners long back. I don't remember, so I'm just checking whether all the organization has owner mapped or not. Yeah. So the demo organization. Okay, now till this scenario complete. Now we need to create initiate. So anyone volunteer? Where I need to go create initiator role? Anybody will do the navigation? Don't worry, we have a till time. We will go slow, step by step.
The one
Why don't you do it? Shrikant, you do it.
No, anybody.
Ask me.
Share your screen and show it.
No, we don't have a system now. Okay, I'm in workflow.
Okay.
Okay, let me.
So, you need to generate the right, the screen,
Now we are still configuring access request. Okay. So the rule kind is initiator rule.
Initiator rule will ID just
Is even in the call?
Oh, I don't see Tuhin in the call. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was not there, so I just want to this is initiator and there are plus.
Road type is the last one, the flat road. Yeah.
Since we know the headers, so I'm selecting here itself the method one.
Plus type and also
employee type, right? Employee type.
Last time we used the employee type. Now you're using employee type. Yeah. So
I have selected. Now item
level, item number. Yeah. Empty. Yeah. Execute.
So our initiator rule got created. Okay. Now employee type, initiator rule, decision table. Okay. Now
edit. Table settings. Yeah. Up is the employee type.
Yes. And we need to switch. So I'm just moving up request type first, employee type second, and rule result value is same. Now adding
Request type equal to 001. Yeah.
where itself include condition. I'm selecting even 002 as well. So the employee type
01 and 02. Yeah.
Do you want me to go with only one path or separate?
I'll go 2 parts. Yeah.
Now trigger is web underscore. So now add 001 include condition 002 information to the contract. So till now we are okay, right? Now direct value input. So delete account, lock, unlock. Okay. Irrespective of employee, jet is unlock. Now the last is firefighter. So this is also irrespective of company. I'll go with only one path. JAD underscore. Okay. Done. Now we have completed our the basic trigger condition, right? So we need to activate, check, save, activate, right? Then function, edit, check, save, activate. Then application, check, save, activate. Right? The function, just click on circle, the square circle, then we got the function name, initiator. We got the initiator. We can go with the same name. Okay, till now clear? We have completed till this custom initiator. Now two-stage workflow primarily. So now we are in Msmp access request. So I'm in the maintain rules, add. So since we have created a custom initiator rule, first we need to add. Then we need to do description. Rule type is flat by flat initiator rule. So, okay. as soon as we have added, we just check the initiator rules. So this is added. Now better we can save. Then what we have to do is we will change the initiator rule. Okay, in the second stage. So now initiator rule was added as our main initiator rule. Now we need to select the initiator again. Then we need to add rule results. Okay, here we have to add sim. Here so we have added 4 rule result values. Now comes to, since we have created initiator rule only, we have not created any agent rules. So initiator rules will be maintained only on stage 2. If it is the agent, then we have to maintain in both stages. We have not created any custom agent as of now. So maintain paths. Here you can use everything or even you can delete. It's no issue. So I'm adding. So I created path, adding stages. This is the same default manager stage, manager. Now task settings, which is required. Approve dispatch of risk is not required for our scenario. And since manager stage, there is no risk analysis mandatory. Okay, notifications, I'm just creating one notification. New work item, work item, current updates. Okay. Now this is standard role owner stage. So here the role owner save. Now modify task settings. Here we are not routing enabled. We are removing approved dispatch of risk. So risk analysis is mandatory. This stage we are making risk analysis is mandatory, and we are removing approved dispatch of risk and we have not enabled any of the routing. So the request will be sitting in this role owner, okay, role owner stage. So once the role owner will perform the risk analysis, until the role owner will not assign the mitigation control, request will be stuck there. Okay. To stop that particular stage forcefully, we need to activate one more parameter, that is 107. We'll see what it is. Mitigation. So mitigation of critical risk required before approving the test. So generally we have not, in the role owner stage, we have not maintained any approved spread of risk. If risks are adjusted, we cannot move forward. It must be mitigated. But still, SAP has suggested, in case of such requirement, you can stop the request to forcefully. So by using this parameter, if we said yes, then the request without mitigation, it cannot be approved. Even mitigating critical risk, but it is a part of critical permission and as well as SQL. It will be applicable for all the request types. So the request someone has reset. Yes. So the request without mitigation, request cannot approve. It must be assigned. Are you getting? The task settings, we have not route diversion and we have not maintained approved despite of risk. If approved despite of risk enabled, then even though risk, the request can be approved. Also, we made routing and we have diverting the SOD path from original path to SOD path. Now, what we are doing, we have not set for any setting. It must be mitigated at role owner stage. For that, additionally, we are configuring 1072 parameter. So definitely it should be mitigated, then only it will move to next stage, meaning if it is next stage or the request will be approved. Any questions here?
So what is the difference, Girish? That the regular one here we are doing the same thing, right? For the approval, you are still at approve, right?
You can't find the difference.
At 610. So in 610, right? If you go to the settings, role owner, I'm okay with manager.
Okay.
Yeah, here, yeah, we remove that, right? what is the despite approving the request that we did it, right? Right.
Yes. See.
Okay. So here this is the difference. Yeah.
We are diverting. If the risk, then SOD. I'm not the person to assign the mitigations. So we are diverting from original path to separate path. And we are approving the request even though if it is a risk exists. Right? Now the condition is we are not diverting. We are not approving if the risks are exist. We are forcefully do the mitigation. Okay? We'll do how it will work and how it will trigger to the other workflow also we'll see. Okay? And this is our initiator. With associate I have configured. Path is associate path. Okay, right now I will configure this and we'll see. And also we have not activated the other workflows of this. Okay. So our workflow basic for associate has been configured. Okay, it is type associate, then it will goes to this form. Okay. Now so mitigation control assignment change. Since it is a standard workflow, we will go with standard workflow only. There is no changes required, just we need to modify. We need to add the standard approval. Anyone approve? So standard also. This is also standard. Right. One thing. Any questions now? We have just activated as workflow, but we have not configured, so that's why I have activated the process.
Krish, I have a question. So when you went to the rollover stage, modify stage, can you go there for a second? The rollover stage for associate. So here if you will modify task setting. So if there is a risk, then you have not selected anything here, correct? It will automatically go to the next
rollover stage. It will not move until unless mitigated. Okay.
So it will automatically go to that one, correct? So you don't select any of those. Okay, I got you. I got you.
How it will trigger, I will show. Okay, that is the reason I am activating mitigation control assignment. If there is no mitigation control, since we have already discussed this, so probably we have activated workflow, so I am configuring this one as well. So since it is a default, change. So default path, modify. So the first one only we need to configure custom initiator, custom agent rule and everything, but most of the other workflows we won't configure. We will just use a standard workflow. So, new version. Okay, you may have doubt. What is the reason? and the access control owners, I have maintained some mitigation approver, and mitigation monitor. Okay, 2% already. They are existing in GRC system. They have appropriate roles assigned. They are maintaining the access control owners, and also these people are maintained in the organization hierarchy as approvers. Hope you remember all these standard process. I have maintained these 2% as already organization unit. So they are maintained, they are created in the GRC system approvers, and they have mapped to organization hierarchy, and they are maintained in the access control owners as mitigation approver, mitigation control. Okay, so that is the reason I am activating the standard workflow and standard agents. Okay, here the control assignment approver or controller assignment monitor, automatically it will pick up from details which I will maintain to respective mitigation control, whoever the owners standard, it will automatically trigger to that particular approvals. Okay, I'm just giving clarification. You may have doubt, we have not created, so I have already created a long back setup, but due to some issues during the time it was not discussed, but now we are working on the scenario, so I'm just giving clarification. The owner master data setup has been completed. Okay. Now I think we need to do one more thing. Have you find any implied type in the access request by any chance? Implied type, yes. If it is not enabled, then we need to update the UP settings as well. And even though it is there, but it should be mandatory. Okay. Now, okay, till now any questions? You have completed this. You have completed the employee types. You have completed the configuration parameters and updating workflows as well. Actually, I have maintained the workflow, but forgot to maintain. So we have created initiator rule with the set of values and role owner settings modified. We have removed approved despite of risk. We have also added additional parameter which is forcefully do the mitigation controls. Okay. Till now, everything okay? Hello, am I audible? So any doubts or do you need any explanation, please let me know. If you need any clarifications, anything. Okay, I'm submitting request for new user.
So, Grish, a question. If there is no mitigation available, then we go to maintain mitigation, right? So once mitigation is maintained and assigned, the user will automatically get access?
Yes, yes. The request will
Okay.
approve and will assign the mitigation control, right? Same like normal. 1 minute, Manpreet. We are not going to reach that point till
Oh,
now.
okay. Got you.
I'm submitting the request. If you observe, I'm not selecting any company because company is not our mandatory field input. Our mandatory input is employee type. And even if you select contract, I have not configured. Only associate it is configured. Yes, that is the reason I have selected associate. I think um, the first role has risks, so I'm selecting, but I just want to make sure it has a risk. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now user submitting the request. Submit. Okay, so request got submitted. 21. Okay, now search request 21. Okay, this is a 600 manager stage. 600 manager stage. Comments. Approve. Submit. Administration. So second, roll on our stage. Okay, roll on our stage. Right? If I hit, it will mention approval mode. Okay.
Girish, why do we need approval? Type it here because we are not doing anything exception, right?
As a admin, I'll let you know. It is basic setting because
Okay.
as a owner, it cannot be, but as a admin, I need to approve. Okay. Risk analysis
Okay.
is mandatory. Okay. Now it is asking risk analysis is mandatory. Running the risk analysis. So it is showing risk. Okay. If I approve, I have to log in. I just plan to log in this way. My bad. Just a minute. So it should not be. One more thing. I think I'll go with because I have elevated access.
Girish, what was the issue?
I'm using admin and as well as mitigation
Okay.
assignment should mitigation policy should be configured. We have not configured that right. Okay, first I will show how it will work, then probably we will see. The risk analysis, okay, generally it will not work, but if the risk button, we need to select this, click on mitigation. Automatically submit right the button. This mitigation I have created for all the roles, but if it doesn't have they have not found any mitigation control or selected the mitigation control and click on submit. If you observe the submit, this submit will trigger the process ID, this one, mitigation assignment. As soon as we click on submit, the workflow request submitted successfully. Okay. Now mitigation control assignment process ID search. This mitigation control assignment workflow triggered and it is waiting for one of the approved, the risk owner. I have maintained risk owner as approver and role owner as monitor. So this particular person, the request is pending. Okay. This is how the request will trigger or request will call to other process workflow. Once the mitigation assignment approved, then request will approve. That is one thing. When we will use mitigation workflow means so if I click there is a create control. Okay? If I am not able to find sufficient mitigation controls in this request, then click on create. It will open separate mitigation control creation. This time what will happen? It will call for mitigation control maintenance work. Are you getting? Whenever you hit on the create control button, it will trigger to mitigation maintenance workflow. Once you fill the data, then submit, then it will go for approval, mitigation owner. And click on submit, then it will go to mitigation assignment workflow. This is how two-stage, and it will trigger to different process IDs. The drawback of this workflow is, if you are observed, the request is pending with mitigation assignment workflow, right? It triggers different workflow. The actual request is waiting for this guy, risk owner, right? Agree with me? Hello. Hello. The original request is pending with risk approval because it is calling other owner approval pending, right? But the original request, it is showing role owner pending. Role owner has assigned mitigation and initiated approval. It triggers a separate workflow, but the original request will display still role owner. People will get confused. The request is pending with role owner, but original request is not pending with role owner. It is pending with assignment workflow. This is one of the main drawback. Incorrect status it will show by configuring this workflow. Initially, SAP recommended to use multiple stages. It is getting delayed. You can use this facility in GRC 10 versions. But later, by facing different issues, then they have changed, the companies changed their strategies. But still, some companies, they are using the basic this workflow, but the original request will be pending with mitigation owner approval. Are you getting?
Girish,
Yes.
if mitigation control is not in place, so we have assigned the mitigation control, then where it will go in the next stage after that?
That's what I'm showing, right? 1 minute. Then you are not following. Okay. I'll show that one as well. So if we don't have a mitigation, we have triggered, okay, workflow, right? Now MIT triggered. This is with risk owner. Once this is completed, then again we need to click on mitigation assignment workflow. Then it will trigger to another workflow, mitigation assignment. Once that is completed, then request will be approved. Till that time, the original request will display role owner approval pending.
So once this is done, will the assignment, mitigation assignment approver get any notification that control has been created?
Huh. No, but automatically it won't. That's
So,
how we
Girish,
can set notifications here in the
so Girish,
yeah, someone is saying something.
Girish, in real time, do you really do this?
See,
Have you seen just been implemented
we have
in
implemented
any
one of
company? I have
we
not
have
seen it.
implemented one of the projects, okay, during
So
2012.
usually you have control already defined, so you don't need to do this, correct?
Yeah, you can send notification to
Um,
the controllers here, the appropriate controllers. Then mitigation assignment will they need to trigger. Then the mitigation assignment will be performed. Then the request will be complete. But till the time it will display only role owner. So you got the complete details. You can call different workflows, but there are some drawbacks because it will show wrong status in the request, but the background process will trigger to other process IDs. This is how we can configure. Any questions? Hello.
So Girish, so maybe I'm not understanding, but so in this scenario, so you have the role bonus stage, that is one thing, and you have the mitigation control stage or approval stage, right? Two things, right?
Okay. If mitigations are not existing, then we have to trigger, right?
We have to create,
We
right?
have to
The
create.
mitigation.
Yeah, that is also workflow, separate workflow.
So if you don't use the existing mitigation controls, then you are doing this exercise. Is that right? Configuration.
Basically, if you remember the implementation logic, get clean, stay in control before handover to the system. Okay, we will perform mask risk analysis in ARA module. We will create sufficient mitigations or remediations at ARA stage only. Okay, that is the first strategy.
Right.
In case of any authorizations, since BRM was not placed, someone has updated the authorizations in the role, but they were not perform any risk analysis before moving the role changes. Okay, or might be in the rule set earlier some of the functions associated actions permission values were deactivated. Later might be enhancement going forward in the maintenance. Maybe some of the risk IDs are functions with respect to functions, actions, and work. The permission values might be activated. There is a chance, right? Automatically, it will triggers. There might be some extra risks, but we don't have a sufficient mitigation controls. Then we will create mitigation controls. Since we have enabled, we don't have choice directly, we can create the mitigation controls. We must trigger the workflow, and workflow will be approved through workflow. Then we will trigger the second maintenance workflow. We'll initiate, we'll select the mitigations and trigger, then it will automatically go to the respective approver. Once the request approved, then automatically create the user and assign the request. But this is ideal scenario. It will trigger the mitigation maintenance workflow. Generally, the sufficient mitigation controls will create and it will trigger to assign them. But we are on the same screen, so I want to cover even this scenario as well, this process ID, so that we will cover ample of process IDs. So that is the reason even we can have a facility to trigger the new mitigation control in the same screen. So any questions? See, I want to bring this notice to everyone for this scenario because the earlier scenarios we have created for even standard path for different agents, the normal strategy, industry strategy. But even without a normal strategy, we can mitigate the risks by using different workflow process IDs. I just want to give heads up and different scenarios so that whenever maybe we will get an opportunity in some project, but is the GRC already configured, so it was a different strategy like which we discussed. So you need to support the customer environment, right? So any questions? Hello. So now I'm approving mitigation assignment. The request is approved now. Check out the access request also approved. Oh, sorry. Problem of stage, right? Yes. Okay, the mitigation was assigned. So if you want to check it, the mitigation assignment will be assigned to this user. So if you want to check with mitigation, you can include mitigation of risks. So once the mitigation completed, but in the audit log, you can identify a small thing in the audit log. Mitigation assignment request is updated. Sorry, created. So this is a somewhat ideal scenario. Even we can configure the system. So any questions? We will discuss on function risk. Then, if time permits, we'll start there.
I agree with you. I get it, Girish. But so some scenarios, right? So we discussed about provisioning the users. I mean, the MSN workflow for permanent, right? And the contractors we did not discuss, right? Employee type.
We can trigger, no? We can configure that. Is
not no. So when we set the configuration, 01 and 02. So what was the difference between these two, the contractor versus employee?
No. I'm just giving a high level scenario with the two parts.
I see.
Okay. If it is a contract, you can add 3 stage.
One more
So
contractor
why
path.
I want to show difference is some companies still they are going for a standard process manager and role owner. For contractors, they may go for 3 or 4 levels approvers as well, department head and particular. Uh, I worked with one of the client that they have 5 levels of approvals. They need complaints lead, system owner, and as well as department head as well. So all the 5 stages approved for contractors, then only they will get access. For associates or permanent employees, they have only 2 stages, manager and role owner. And role owner will even assign the mitigation controls. Okay. So why I want to show
Yeah,
different paths means since we are practicing, it will be added advantage for to configure different stages. That's
right. So yeah, so Girish, yeah, I know some companies use 545, but some processes, right? You don't need those level of approvals. So we made it as auto provisioning of the contractors. So there is no, the flow triggers automatically whenever we hire a contractor in the system for some other function. So I thought that is linked to the contractor over here, but whereas you are saying that in here only to differentiate, that's it, right?
yes, yes. Just for
Differentiate only. Yeah, differentiate.
see, since we are practicing, we'll take the scenario, but we'll configure as much as different things in one workflow, so that since we have planned the step by step process. Even I forgot to configure. I just maintained a workflow, but I forgot to configure work. So you can put the complete logic based on the requirement. You can enter the number of prerequisites, step by step configuration. Then it will be very easy in the system. Okay.
Right, so yeah, we are talking about only the manual provisioning, right, Girish, here. So we are not talking about auto provisioning anywhere, any of the scenarios, right?
No, we are talking about the complete auto provisioning only, not manual. We are not creating any users manually, right? System will automatically creating the users. GRC
No,
system.
no, no, no. What I mean to say, if I hire a contractor in my system, I don't have to submit a GRC request. System will take care of it.
Yeah.
That scenario we are not talking about here because we are submitting a request.
No, that HR
So the differentiation is, yeah, go ahead.
no, HR trigger needs to configure. Not that auto submitting request we cannot do that.
Yeah, so that is again the Bayesian table, right?
No. Okay.
No.
There is a couple of things.
Okay.
Manual intervention will be required means GRC request will not automatically created. Maybe we can configure HR triggers, or maybe we can map service now to GRC integration or different um, possibilities. User will submit the incident, then based on that service now it will trigger the GRC. That is also started trending, but it was
Yeah. So we are already using that, Girish. So in LDAP, right? When I hire a contractor, right? So we have one value or the trigger value. We pick that based on the location. Let us say I have 50 DCs across the country. Let's say I want to hire provision a contractor in a system, right? What I do, I just put that logic in LDAP. I just pick the location. The moment the manager save that record in AD, in GRC, the request gets created automatically. The request gets created and provisioned automatically.
Yeah. That is we need to develop interface with help of PIPO is also required, and ABAP developer is also required.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just saying. So the auto provisioning. So the one what you're doing is kind of semi-auto. That one is full auto, right? So
yes.
That's what I'm asking. That was my question actually. Yeah. So
with this, we are almost the majority of our workflows touched. So I will cover UR, the end-to-end complete process, so that SOD review is also same. We'll just discuss on high level. So almost we covered everything. Only we need access request and somewhat SOD review. Sorry, UR review might be few configurations prerequisites required, but rest of the things, even though UR also we will use the standard, but some prerequisites additionally. But the rest of the other workflows, it's a one stage. We will just use a standard, and fifth stage we will have the standard agent. Nothing apart from that. Now, how much you are confident on the workflows and BFF plus? Do you think that